Good morning.
Morning, everybody.
How you doing, Alex?
Can't complain. How's everybody else feeling? Ready for the day?
Day's half over.
Ah, true.
Hi guys.
Hi, Bree.
Hello. Everyone looks nice today.
I'm sorry?
Everyone looks so nice today and groomed.
They got their wedding clothes on.
Yeah.
Hi, Kyle.
Yep. Good to meet you.
I can hear you. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
I never joined by phone, so it was a new experience.
So I will mute now and confirm that the phone in is 669-900-6833. Great. Okay.
Yes.
I'll go on mute and then join via phone.
And Jamaica, they are joining by phone just to ensure that they will be able to be heard if something goes wrong, because they're like one of the main speakers. So if you choose to do that, you can, but to my understanding, you're hosting the breakout room. I think it'll be okay if you don't want to.
Thanks.
I'm Brianna from the Central Coast Green Building Council.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Mark and Anthony. Good to see you guys. And let's see, okay, that's probably Josh hopping on. So let's see. There's just a couple things that I wanted to go over just to be sure everything was super clear how it will be run. And one of the first things is just for anybody that hasn't yet, I'm going to put the link to the breakout room sign up sheet so that everyone can sign up for that, because then once you have your name, the email that you signed up with your Zoom account, and the place that you will be going, then Alex can organize the breakout rooms really efficiently. So we'll be asking also all the participants to do that. Let's see. Actually,
This is Brian, just checking my phone in audio.
yeah, I hear you. You sound good.
Thank you. I will mute again.
And Jamaica and everyone else who is going to be taking notes for the breakout room, do you guys have your the link to the document where you'll be taking them?
I don't have it yet.
Okay, I'll send that.
Do you have my email address?
No, I don't. That's why I haven't. That did not get to me, but I can just send it in the chat if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, one sec. So first, it's most of you are on the list for the breakout rooms, but here it is. So if you're not already in that, please put your name and the Zoom account email, your Zoom account email, and where you want to go. And then
Is it Brianna? Hi. Is
Laura.
there a password to attend the meeting?
That's a question for Alex. I don't think so.
No, there's not a password.
No. Okay. Well, Moses is having a little trouble signing in. He's getting asked about a password, so hopefully he can come in.
There really shouldn't be one.
It redirected me. You're talking transportation, correct?
I have a question. Do you want me to create another sheet to take the notes on, or do you just want me to start typing at the bottom of that chart?
No, I just sent in the chat the transportation document.
There it is.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So you can just open that and put them in there. Thank you. And then, yeah, Josh, just to confirm, because there's a little bit, I was a little unsure if it was you or Kalina that's doing the breakout room notes.
I'll take the notes.
Okay. And you have the link.
And I got the sheet.
Okay. And
Yeah, I just double checked. There's no password, so I'm not sure what's going on that other person's end. Bree.
It was a little
Alex,
buggy when I logged in. I had to log in twice. The first one
me
kind of
too.
crashed, and the second one went through. So just have them try again if the first one failed, Laura. Just bail on it and try again.
Yeah, or
that
look,
same thing
notice
happened.
mine popped up in the tab next to the one that I'd opened. So maybe it's trying to open somewhere else.
Bree or Alex, I have a technical question. I signed up for the green cleaning breakout group. Is there anything I need, in addition to that, I need to do to proactively to be inserted into that group?
No, when the time comes, you'll just get a pop-up message, and I'll initiate that, and you just have to click it, and you'll join.
Cool. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, and on that note, Bree, because I'll be filling in people into the breakout rooms during the presentation, I was wondering if you wanted to share your screen for the actual PowerPoint. Otherwise, I won't be able to add people in the breakout room and also share my screen at the same time.
Yeah, I can. At what point?
Just from the top in the beginning. So if you wanted to share your screen, you can initiate that PowerPoint, and then that way I'll be able to assign people to breakout rooms.
Okay. I'm a little confused, like at the time, just at the slide basically that we're going into the breakout rooms with the questions that will show.
No, I mean from the beginning. So if you want to share your screen and with the PowerPoint and just let it run, click through it.
Okay. You want me to run the PowerPoint? And
Yeah,
then...
that way I can assign people to the breakout rooms.
Okay, that's fine. So then, yeah. So then I will be clicking the advance to after Kyle does his intro, and I will be doing all that stuff, advancing the slides.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah, I can. Sure. Yeah, and for the, let's see, the note takers, so everyone has their notes, and I've been thinking about the technicalities that it's very simple, but Kyle or Alex would make everybody co-host who's taking notes, and then also Kyle. Also, just in case anything happens or people go unmuted, then there's different people that have abilities to kind of help. But I'm thinking maybe it's not necessary to share the notes on the screen unless you want to share your screen and share the notes, because the time that we have after the breakout room, where each of us will summarize what we talked about in the breakout room, is only like 3 minutes. And so,
yeah, I would actually advocate for not sharing the notes document, but verbally communicate the insight that was shared.
Yeah, we can share the notes
Anytime
after.
that we toggle between sharing screen, it can be a little bit of a technical challenge sometimes too. So we can minimize that.
In the breakout, it might be good to be seeing the people's faces also more than the big just typewriter thing going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but let them know that we'll share the notes after, and so that people can follow up with them. They'll be part of our kind of follow-up email. And yeah, how about do any of the presenters have any questions about how it's running, or people within the breakout rooms? Any questions whatsoever before we start? I think it's Alex and I can help. Cool.
Brianna, who's, in case I
I
missed
think
it,
I have everything I need now.
like who's running the screen during the Pecha Kucha?
I will be.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so if anything goes on in or behind the scenes, you have a question, feel free to reach out to myself or Alex at any time, just within the chat, and we can figure it out.
But Bree, while we are presenting, the slides are on auto advance on the preset timing, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just a reminder, if anything happens with the PowerPoint, I'll have the backup ready to go, and so I can share my screen in the event anything happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up right now because I
All right, good luck, Kyle.
Kyle, is that what you're going to wear?
This is architect standard black, isn't it?
It's a little too black.
I gotta say, waking up in San Francisco this morning has been absolutely surreal. It is almost noon and it's like dark outside. That's how much particulate is in the air right now. It's just insane. So
I was looking at an image from an aerial image of the area, and it was like this huge, well, it wasn't a mushroom cloud, but it was a huge cloud, like up into the atmosphere. So
yeah,
I can imagine that it has darkened out the sun.
This morning was just absolutely insane. I mean, in fact, it was lighter this morning than it was earlier. In fact, just for giggles, I'm going to do a quick. Can you see that?
One of those.
So yeah.
Apocalyptic.
Yeah. Apocalyptic at the Park 55 is the new hotel. But having the little heart there, for San Francisco, it's cute. It's cute, So, Chloe, come here. Here, take this. Oh.
Well, Alex, are you letting everyone in?
Yeah. No, just put it up on top. Thank you so much, Chloe. My animal just returned from an outing.
Excited to tell you about it.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing today? It's good to see everyone's faces.
Good.
Likewise.
Excited for this session.
Ready to get rolling.
Hi, Lisa. Wow, good to see everyone.
It's kind of fun watching everybody kind of pop in. Hi, Mia. Nice to see you.
Yeah, for everyone that's here, just so we can get to know each other a little bit better, if you want to put in the chat your name and your area of expertise, or maybe you have multiple areas of expertise, just to get a better idea who's joining us today. And as people are hopping on, I would like to put in the chat the list for everyone to sign up for what breakout group you'd like to go into. This just makes everything simpler when we get to that point, in case you haven't already. So all you need to do is just fill out the form and make sure that your email is the Zoom account email that you signed up with. Right. So that document is
It's 12:01, Bree. Do we have a welcome slide that we're going to put up on the screen?
yeah, I will share my screen.
I think the most amazing thing about all of this is that Bree is in Switzerland.
I already ate my dinner.
Bree, what is it, like 9 o'clock your time?
It's 9, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. And
I don't know about the rest of you, but adjusting to the Pecha Kucha format was a significant challenge.
yeah, but it was a little bit more challenging than I was imagining it would be.
In what way, Brian? In what way?
I guess I'm fairly verbose, and fitting myself into 20-second segues took a lot lot of editing.
Okay.
That's the beauty of the
That's
Pecha
half the
Kucha,
fun,
right? Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Probably made 4 trips over to Office Depot for whiteout. Now it's all over my screen.
Alex, I think I prefer maybe if you share an advanced thing, just because if my thing is full screen, then I can't engage with anything else.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Is that okay? And then if at some point it's not working, we can just flip back and I can try and share it.
Yeah, you know what we could do is maybe just a couple minutes before we do the breakout rooms, I could pass it over to you,
Okay.
and then I could assign people to the breakout rooms before we head into that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, Kyle will be speaking at that point anyway, so it's perfect.
Great. Yeah, just let me know when you want to switch over.
All right, thank you so much. Okay. So yeah, welcome everyone that's here, and yeah, anyone that's just hopping on, feel free to put your name in your area of expertise or multiple expertises in the chat so we can get to know each other a little bit better. My name is Brianna Ruland, and I'm the communications director with the Central Coast Green Building Council chapter. And yeah, we'll just go ahead and get started. This is the Learning from the Pandemic virtual Pecha Kucha. It's the first of the series that we're hosting, and so we're very it's kind of our test run. So welcome, and please have some patience with us today. We've done a lot of preparation, but you know how it is, technological glitches are well, the gnomes are always playing around, so we'll see what happens, but I'm optimistic. So I just want to give you just a brief overview in case this is a new space for anyone, that just you can toggle on the upper right hand corner for the speaker view or gallery view. We'd like it if everyone stayed muted at the first part of this. So if you're not on mute, and just to know where you can mute and unmute yourself, it's on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. So yeah, during all the presentations, please pay attention, be aware to stay muted so that none of the speakers get interrupted. And yeah, you're welcome to chat with each other and with everyone or with people individually. within the chat box. And yes, also we will be recording this. So if you actually, I don't think anyone's cameras will be shown on the recording anyways, but if you feel uncomfortable with that, then just you can turn your camera off at some point and it won't be on there. But we would like to share this with all of the registrants afterwards. So yeah, I think that's all in terms of technical logistics. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Alec, USGBC LA. We're kind of like the back of house tech people running that side of things. So yeah, with that, I will pass the mic over to our MC, Kyle Pickett. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for that, Mike. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. My name is Kyle Pickett, and I'm a member of the USGBC Pacific Northern California chapter community. I am co-founder and COO for Urban Fabric Inc., a sustainability consulting and communications practice with offices in San Francisco and in New York. I also serve as the co-founder and executive director of the William J. Worthen Foundation, a 501c3 public benefit corporation that conducts research and creates outreach initiatives on the planning, design, construction, performance, and beauty of the built environment. Globalization has created a myriad of economic and collaborative opportunities, but it has also opened us up for instances like COVID-19. I'm getting some feedback actually from someone who is not muted, maybe transiting. So if you can all just double check your mute buttons, I greatly appreciate it. Who knows, it could be my dog chewing in the background and I'm not catching it. Hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, raging forest fires, rising seas, flooding low-lying areas, and submerging atolls. These are the disasters humanity is used to seeing and experiencing. The American public expects these things, but we've been relatively isolated from pandemics. We send teams of experts to global viral hotspots to evaluate, to treat, and isolate virulent outbreaks. The last widespread pandemic here was 100 years ago, and while some of us look like we were around then, we weren't. So there's very sparse institutional or genetic memory and limited medical data from then to help us respond to today's challenges. Resiliency is no longer a buzzword for recovering from epic geological or meteorological disasters. Resilience is defined as the capacity to recover quickly from difficulty or the ability to spring back with elasticity. 2020, AKA the cray-cray year, as my nephew likes to call it, has provided an opportunity for our industry to engage with immediate practices of resiliency to maximize human safety, structural durability, and ultimately our survival. People are at the heart of everything that we do, from design and construction through operations and occupant health and safety. USGBC California Communities welcomes you to this Learning from the Pandemic Pecha Kucha webinar, and this inaugural event will focus on expert insights from architecture, transportation, local governance and advocacy, and HVAC. How do we collectively pivot our design, our engineering, cleaning, and mobility and regulatory practices to respond more quickly to constantly evolving stressors like COVID-19? Following the Pecha Kucha presentations, you'll have the chance to ask questions and engage in discussions in one of the breakout groups. USGBC LA will sort you into your breakout rooms where you will be joined by a speaker and a note taker. This is a 20-minute exercise, so there will be really no time for a round of introductions with your fellow group members. Focus on the kernel of the topic, and after this concludes, your group will report key insights back, so we may all learn from your discussions. So let me introduce you to your speakers. Anthony is a lead fellow focused on Gensler's sustainable design practice, co-author of Gensler's Impact by Design publication, and a contributing writer to Metropolis and other design periodicals. Anthony really champions the climate positive building solutions, and his work spans all of Gensler's market expertise with a primary focus on office buildings. Mark was appointed business liaison in 2019 to help revive Santa Barbara's commercial core, with over 20 years of service to the city of Santa Barbara in various capacities in land development, design review, permitting, capital improvement, project management. Actually, Mark, you've done everything. Mark brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise that people trust. Moses is the general manager of the Fresno County Rural Transit Agency. He oversees the administration and operations of both fixed communities and of both fixed route and demand response services for 13 incorporated cities and 29 unincorporated communities in Fresno County. Since his time with FCRTA, he and his staff have succeeded in replacing over 50% of the fleet with alternative fuel vehicles with a goal of 100% zero emission vehicle fleet by 2025. Moses, that's right around the corner. Prior to this position, he worked for Caltrans and California Public Utilities Commission with over 40 years in public service. Kalina is a mechanical engineer and principal leading Integral Group's San Diego office. She brings over a decade of sustainable design experience in both building science and design engineering. Kalina enjoys interacting with a broad spectrum of professionals across the construction industry, and her goal is to eliminate the distinction between sustainable design and good engineering, believing the two should be synonymous. Brian is the Director of Sustainability for the Ashton Group, a small and mighty consulting firm leading innovation and sustainability initiatives in the cleaning industry. Brian is a former Deputy Director of the California EPA, working with the Department of Toxic Substances Control. He has served as the director of the City of Santa Monica's Office of Sustainability and Environment and is president of the Brian Johnson Surfing Club. You're welcome, Brian. And just a couple tips. If you see a slide you want to screenshot, you're going to have to be quick because each slide auto advances after 20 seconds, whether the speaker is ready for it or not. So get those ready. Additionally, you also have the chance to capture some of the speakers' info later on. So speakers, also please unmute yourself for your prezo. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The first speaker, please.
Hi, this is Anthony Brower. I wasn't sure if this was part of my slides, but I guess I'll
Alex, sorry. Those slides are just for the, like I was mentioning, but those would be just the intros of the people. And then the next slide is theirs.
Okay.
So yeah, so those ones you have to click to start it.
All right. So let's focus first on the individual well-being and the isolation that we've all experienced from the extended COVID-19 work from home format, which has led to a lack of attention to health. Businesses can actually help returning employees find comfort by providing spaces for exercise or meditative moments, which can give people a sense of choice and control over their day. Another way we can make office environments healthier is actually finding new ways to bring plant life indoors, which is an old idea. It can be part of a broader effort towards adding elements of nature into the workplace, which most of us recognize as biophilia. A lot of proponents of this approach actually maintain that design interventions that incorporate nature or mimic natural systems are linked to decreased stress, enhanced creativity, and accelerated recovery from illness. In the workplace, it can also lead to financial benefits such as a reduction in the use of sick days. This is an image from a project, from an Adobe project up in the San Francisco area. Medical journals are starting to report that viruses last just a few hours on copper compared to days on other materials. Copper building products come with some protective coatings that nullifies this effect. If your clients are looking for copper for this reason, be sure to advise them that the discoloration that comes with specifying uncoated products. Office environments with ample outdoor meeting spaces and focus areas that function rain or shine will actually take on a new importance as critical leasing amenities. This example converts the space between office building and parking garage into a tapestry of familiar outdoor themes: kitchen, game room, living room, and so forth. Dedicated tenant outdoor spaces previously considered a casual amenity should actually become a top priority. Employers should embrace the outdoor space for meeting and focus work in order to provide new and engaging experiences for staff to interact while safely distancing. I caught up with myself. The recent residential trend has been to reduce unit sizes in the name of efficiency. Just enough space for a living room, seating arrangement, perhaps even a room for a dining table, a tight kitchen, and a sleeping area. While this trend will likely continue, we now have to consider how a home office could be part of this mix. It should go beyond simply designing a niche that can barely hold an IKEA desk. perhaps landlord will be willing to offer pre-designed workstation packages as a leasing incentive. Such a package actually could be designed to bring in a focused space which includes a desk, ergonomic chair, lighting, and built-in storage. Some employers that have made long-term plans, long-term work from home plans for a significant portion of their workforce, beyond the talent and commute benefits that we all know about, employers will surely consider reducing their real estate, which brings the added benefit of reducing their operational energy footprint. But the idea that reducing real estate in the work from home shift reduces power usage has flaws. The cumulative effect of conditioning individual workers' homes is actually more taxing on the power grid than heating a single office space, especially in the US where air conditioning is ubiquitous. Indoors, our first reactions were to institute physical distancing in our offices by spacing out employees and their work areas further. But this means providing larger spaces, the unintended consequence of which being more space conditioning, more lighting, more material usage, and more area to clean and disinfect. Physical distancing has also sparked the further exploration of whether we can space out our teams without providing more space through shift work. Putting aside the logistical challenge of asking 2/3 of your staff to work during either the twilight or moonlight hours, spaces that would normally have systems running only during the day would now be increasing this usage upwards of threefold. A 6-month transition plan back to full capacity could result in 2 years worth of hyper-concentrated energy emissions. So something to think about when we talk about shift work and building usage over the workday. At the end of the day, people really are expecting to return to the office, but it should look different. Our work from home survey revealed that in order to feel comfortable returning to the office, a combination of stricter sick policies, changes around office cleaning and space configurations that accommodate physical distancing must be made a priority. Topping the list of new measures and practices viewed favorably by respondents are increased social distancing and more flexibility to work from home as needed, each with more than a 75% favorable rating. People do want to come back to the office, but they're expecting a shift. Most people want to come back to the office 2 to 3 days a week.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Aguilar with the City of Santa Barbara. I'm the business liaison, and we'll get going after this slide. Beautiful shot of downtown Santa Barbara and our famous dolphins there. So before COVID, back in 2017, we established a program to address vacancy rates in our downtown corridor. We gave priority placement on design review agendas and priority building permit plan review to those vacant spaces of retail on the first floor. And we provided some additional services to help folks on the front end. But when COVID hit, we were in a hurry suddenly to get everything online because our lobbies were closed. So we had to spend a lot of time scanning plans that were already in and then moving into a system that took in applications and permits and payments. It was on our to-do list, just not this soon. So we had to move to online permit inspections. That's Roger there in the picture doing an actually he's not doing Apple FaceTime, but we're using Apple FaceTime and Google Duo to do the on-site inspections. We were also in a hurry to get back into our meetings. It took us about a month. You can just see on the slide, this is April 15th, one of our Historic Landmarks Commission meetings. This is great. I was impressed at how quickly staff got this done, but it does require some additional staff added to make the meeting function, not the usual staff that are just coordinating the meeting. We needed to be quick and nimble. Council took action to allow our city administrator to close certain streets, State Street, our main drag downtown, and even some side streets right off of our main drag. There's some outdoor expansion shown, which I'm going to get to in one of the next slides. We also made efforts to restripe parking. So we have perpendicular parking on some segments of our street, just so we can get cars in and out, and they can still serve some of the restaurants that are up on this block. Public Works was really great with this. They were fast. We developed guidelines, Public Works did, for parklets, and we gave folks some ideas of how to separate their tables, provide ADA access, and to be creative with the type of parklet and outdoor dining area that they would have on the street surface, kind of in that parking space area. So some folks are geared up for nighttime. Some folks were just using the barrels of their winery. I should have had some more photos. This is really indicative. And you probably see some of this in your own communities going on right now. Oh, one thing that comes up is stormwater. So we're starting to worry about rains in the winter. Just more examples of the expansion onto our main drag. Yeah, maybe not everybody's wearing a mask in some of these photos, but it's been very dynamic in the mid portion of our downtown area. Pretty exciting. Kind of a mixed bag, but overall this has been a tremendous boon to business. This is our parking structure, our Granada Garage rooftop. We have some local martial arts studios that are using the city's parking lots and parking structures to have exercises out there. No sparring, keeping their distance, but not having to wear masks for that type of activity. During COVID, very quickly, we began waiving parking fees as well as permits for those who had monthly permits to those parking spaces, waived parking business improvement area taxes for the first quarter. And then once we did go back into fees, we limited the time. And kept the community informed. Actually, as the business liaison, I was fielding a lot of questions about reopening types of businesses in those sectors from folks, and guiding them to their options for outdoor business expansion to parking lots, the street, or the sidewalk. Those are all my colleagues there. Those are my real friends, and they are happy to be at home. I prefer to be in the office myself, but they're all acclimating well to this. I think they're going to miss home when they have to come back eventually. And lastly, this is really just us trying to get back to what is normal for us with our old Spanish Days fiesta and our solstice parades. This is our hope, and this is what keeps us moving forward. Would love to talk more to you in the breakout rooms. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Moses Stites here. We started operation in 1979, and as you can see by this map, it's a good depiction of Fresno County, including the current fire that's going up there in the northeast corner there of the map. But we have 13 incorporated cities, 29 unincorporated, and we service that entire area. This is our fleet, which is 50% EV and also compressed natural gas. We have no diesel vehicles whatsoever, but this gives you the variation of the buses that we use on the demand response and fixed routes as well. It's a good depiction of what we can use. These are our seniors that we transport. We transport a lot of disabled and seniors, and they also ride for free in the unincorporated communities and the incorporated as well. And also we started providing free passes for veterans in a couple months ago. This is one of the senior centers in many communities out there. Both urban and rural areas are good depiction of this. And this gives you a good variation of why seniors go to the community centers, not just to get a meal, but to socialize, interpersonal. Also, they play a lot of bingo, cards, pool, whatever they're up to. This particular site is interesting because this senior center was closed after March 18th, after the pandemic, and it just shows you what the sterile environment looks like after the pandemic, because seniors couldn't go to the senior centers any longer, which is a sad reality. This is a ramp being deployed for a senior using a mobility device. We have the driver that gets out of the vehicle that is there to assist the passenger in the event that anything can, if they need assistance. And these ramps are very applicable for seniors. Since the pandemic, this is one of the get-ups that the drivers have, one of many. We make masks mandatory, not just for the drivers, but also for the passengers. We also provide free masks for all the passengers. To date, we've only had one reject a ride, no mask, no ride. This is the dispatch center, and the dispatchers ask the passengers when they make a reservation, because it's real time, the basic questions about if they have a temperature, have they been sick, any coughs, things of that nature. And they're pretty good responding to those questionnaires, in spite of our ridership that has fallen about 60 to 80%. Here's another shot of some seniors boarding. And as you can see, the ramp is pretty parallel to the sidewalk, as some of the communities in the rural areas do not have sidewalks. So you get the curb gutter here, which makes a good parallel transition. We started doing meal delivery after the pandemic. And this is one of our drivers providing a meal to a disabled passenger who could not get out of his home. And he has 3 meals there for the day. We were able to do this in coordination with the schools, food banks, and some restaurants were very generous with that. This is one of the devices that are being included in or placed in the buses to provide better protection for the drivers. We've been very fortunate, knock on wood, that we haven't had any viruses transmitted among the drivers or the passengers. We're also doing a study with the CSUF, California State University, Fresno, on the HVAC system and how the different buses work. And that lower slide on the right is one that we use smoke to detect how a particle transmits from the front to the rear of the bus. The funding is a great opportunity for us as we continually pursue electric vehicles. And to the right is a ultraviolet light that we're going to be purchasing 50 of these to place in the buses to help us with the disinfectant of the buses. And they're on a timer so that people aren't affected. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kalina Ferreira. I'm a mechanical engineer with Integral Group down in San Diego. And we're going to look at the HVAC systems and the mechanical systems and how that's being impacted and how we're rethinking those now in light of COVID and what we can do there. So again, we're focusing primarily on public spaces, office buildings here. Obviously, it's going to be different depending on the usage of the building. So, you know, we can only cover so much in a 20-second slide, but we're going to try to keep this general, broadly looking at our public spaces going forward. So within COVID, I think we have to acknowledge that there's a process. Initially, we left our public buildings and now we're starting to get back into them. And so we'll look at what we can do with our existing systems, but also be looking towards the future of how we upgrade and adapt those systems and then really plan for a more resilient future moving forward so that we have healthy, safe spaces and are ready for the next one. We have to remember that we're still learning about this virus. So I'm not an epidemiologist and we can't eliminate the risk of COVID, but we can reduce it, not with any silver bullets or magic technology, but by just having good sound design and really thinking about the way we design our spaces in a different way. And paying attention to the health of people. With this particular virus, we're aware that there's multiple routes of transmission. We've seen from science as it's developed that the direct person-to-person transmission of droplets through the air seems to be the most critical path. But we also have to look at the more circuitous paths of how those droplets travel through our mechanical systems. And so we'll look at both. And to really minimize those risks in those spaces, we're going to focus on 3 areas: maximizing the ventilation, minimizing our recirculation, and then optimizing the filtration in the systems where we have them. And maximizing the ventilation is going to be the first one we're going to start with, because we've seen that the least amount of transmission happens when you're in outdoor spaces. So the more we can make our indoor spaces like those, the better off we'll be. So really maximizing the ventilation through your space. Natural ventilation certainly seems to be the best way to do that here in California, where we have that option. Spaces that have more challenging climates, we have to consider the energy trade-offs for that. But where we've got opportunities to open windows and bring that air through, we can get more airflow. Failing that, we're going to have to rely on our central systems. So evaluating the system you have, making sure it's working. Outside air dampers seem to be one of the most common failures in these central mechanical systems. And then figuring out if you can increase the outside air flowing through that, program in sequences that have purges before and after occupancy to really improve the airflow to your zones. When we're looking at those floors, we have to really evaluate the different tenants within the space and really try to treat those as, the way people are talking about separate pods and not be transferring air between those tenants, and relook at how we evaluate the transient spaces between those. So the corridors, the lobbies, the elevator lobbies, and the spaces that are often overlooked are now becoming more critical. Within those zones, we need to start looking at zones as far as how the air moves through them. So not just zoning based on temperature and thermal comfort, but also thinking of first air. So when we supply the air to the space and it's fresh outside air or cleanly filtered, taking it through that and getting it back up into a return duct, not pulling it across your entire zone and transferring that air over. But making sure that within that zone, we do have good air change. So we're not getting stagnant areas where we don't have the air passing through, and that can lead to an accumulation of these pollutants or concentration of virus. So evaluating and using more detailed modeling to make sure that we're getting clean airflow through spaces to get good air change. As we're looking at new buildings, we can consider other systems that actually have an improved air ventilation effectiveness so that we get once through air. So underfloor distribution or displacement systems where we supply air low and it moves through the space once, as opposed to mixing and circulating air through that space. Where we do have to circulate the air, we want to optimize filtration. Now we say optimize, not maximize, because going all the way to HEPA filters is not going to be appropriate for most environments. Usually a good MERV 13 or MERV 14 is at a size that it can capture those droplets without having too much negative impact on your fan energy. And then we really want to look beyond the systems and the ductwork and start trying to consider in-room options, particularly where you have dense spaces, conference rooms, classrooms. If we can capture any of those contaminants within the room, then we avoid bringing them through the systems and distributing them to other spaces. So evaluating indoor options needs to start being part of the HVAC conversation. But really, we need to look at all of these different solutions. There's not going to be a one-size-fits-all. There's not a magic bullet. You need to get in and evaluate the systems that you have, or really design the space for the use that you're going to use it for, whether that's going to be dense populations, whether you're going to have vulnerable populations, whether you've got different people that move through that space or single tenants. So summing this up, in existing buildings, we want to look at the systems that you've got, really figure out how we can optimize those with the systems and the sequences, and tailor it to fit the systems. And then in new buildings, optimize that natural ventilation and outdoor spaces, and start using some more sophisticated technologies to really maximize the airflow through that space.
Alex, you can go ahead and advance these slides. Oh, maybe go back to his first. Let's make sure Brian is. I'm unmuting you, Brian. If I'm not able to, you're going to have to do it yourself.
Okay. Brianna, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Great. Okay. Wonderful. Let's get started then. Again, I'm Brian. I am your host on this whirlwind Pecha Kucha journey through the cleaning industry. Realizing that for most of you, unless you're in the cleaning industry, this will probably be the longest stretch of you've ever thought about cleaning in your life. There we go. It's a rough industry. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It's really hard on workers, and it's really hard to be a successful contractor. The last decades in this industry, it's really been a race to the bottom. as the demands for cheaper and faster and to do more with less has really changed an already pretty difficult industry to be successful in. There is a bright light in our industry where we have really moved from a niche market of green cleaning into 30% multi-billion-dollar a year across the United States cleaning market, supported by folks like you and these organizations that you see listed here. And then came COVID. In some respects, everything changed at that moment. In other respects, nothing really changed. One thing for sure, though, is that the cleaning industry went from a behind-the-scenes activity, the folks who empty your recycling bins and wipe down the counters, to being recognized as a primary public health protection strategy. So what hasn't changed? And this is really important. It's critical that you understand that we now have currently in our toolbox the products, the processes, and the equipment to address the virus. We're not like the healthcare industry where we don't yet have the tools to address it. What has changed is the perspectives that have shifted enormously about cleaning. We're no longer cleaning for appearance, we are cleaning for health. And this is a really important shift. We use risk-based assessments, increase in frequency, prioritizing surfaces, more informed decisions about what to clean and disinfect. And the pandemic has really hit every economic sector. Everyone is trying to do more. Industry standards are changing. They're using hospital-grade products, program branding, deep cleaning, all of these pointing towards trying to reinstill confidence in your occupants and customers that they can come back into your building. Let's talk about some of the positives in this new attention to cleaning and disinfection. Advances have emerged in whole building certifications for COVID cleaning, from LEED to IWBI to ISSA's Global Biorisk Advisory Council, each developing standards for healthy building maintenance. We've also, when cleaning for health, we have developed and are using adenosine triphosphate meters to help measure cleanliness. Autonomous devices are freeing up labor to focus on more labor-intensive items. And folks are really looking at design features in a more systemic and holistic way. There's also troubling things going on. This assumption that more is better, that dumping large amounts of chemicals into the built environment, we know now that's not a sustainable or a healthy solution, nor is turning to the nuclear cleaning options when they're not warranted. So we really don't need to divert hospital-grade chemicals away from the healthcare industry. The best products in the industry also aren't going to work unless we train our janitors. And lastly, you don't want to walk through a mat saturated with pesticides with your $800 Jimmy Choos. Some of the trends that we do want to watch: folks are buying devices that generate on-site cleaners and disinfecting solutions, and many of them generate a chlorine-based product. And for me personally, I have some significant health concerns about that. This other issue is hygiene theater, the overt demonstration that something is being done, like aerial fogging in an office building, to publicly demonstrate that you're addressing COVID. A lot of folks are going that way. Also, you probably know, see these technologies? Oh, we're going to go back to that one. I'm so sorry. Green cleaning is moving to, thank you. There we go. I just wanted to mention that of all these technologies that you see on the slide, EPA and CDC do not currently list those as being demonstrated effective against COVID-19. Okay, so while they may serve as an adjunct to some cleaning and disinfectant, it's important to understand that they, from a legal perspective, are not accepted by EPA. We want to continue moving in spite of the pandemic to sustainable cleaning, because the whole movement really stalled with green cleaning products. And what here you see here is just an example. This is Pride Industry. It's a janitorial company that moved into sustainable and social equity and hiring individuals with disabilities. And that's really been an expansion. So our last takeaways here are really important, I think. It's important. Janitors are your friends, and they are doing work that is really helping protect public health. The products that we have now are very successful and effective at combating COVID. The way you design buildings, and I know architects are a tough room, has a lot to do with how feasible it is and how expensive it is to maintain a building. And lastly, we're really focused on moving to sustainable cleaning. It's a much broader brush that we paint cleaning solutions with, and this is the time we're focused on it. Thank you.
Thank you, speakers. That was a whirlwind, wasn't it? Brian, how you good? Thank you all for that, and just kind of taking a deep breath and collectively drawing all of that in, even though I knew what I looked through the slide deck actually yesterday, I cheated, but I ended up scribbling all kinds of little notes. So I'm sure you guys did as well, and we'll be ready to jump into our breakout rooms, breakout sessions. And I just wanted to throw out there a couple questions for you all to consider as you go into your breakout rooms. And just before I go into that particular part of it, if you have not put your name and your Zoom email address into the Google Doc that was shared in the chat earlier on, actually, Bree or if one of you can just move that Google Doc to the front, just to make sure that we have everyone signed in for the breakout room. It gives them an opportunity now as we go into these discussion ideas. So was there anything that was striking or really important information that you learned from the Pecha Kucha that you would like to explore further? I know I took a few notes and I would love to jump into all of the breakout sessions, but as the facilitator, I guess I have that freedom. I could jump around into the breakout rooms. Have you seen the workforce within your area of expertise finding resiliency and successful adaptation in these times? And then what are the most prominent issues that you and your clients or within your firm, what are the prominent issues and what, if any, are the solutions that you've explored? Let's see, and just to make sure that everyone was, okay, so the Google Doc is in there. If you guys have not done that, just go ahead and take a moment to jump in and put your name into the breakout session, and then USGBC LA will sort you into your rooms. Bree, anything to add at this point?
Yeah, no, that was great. Everyone, basically the breakout room will just pop up as an option and ask you if you want to go there. And so you have to click yes in order to get to that place. And then the breakout rooms will be 20 minutes. Everyone has 20 minutes together. And I believe that there's a 5-minute warning or a few minute warning beforehand. And then at the end, it will either, I'm not sure actually, maybe Alex can clarify, if it will automatically bring everyone back at the end, or it will, you have the choice also to click and come back. But yeah, anyone that, there is somebody designated for each group to take notes already. So if anyone needs anything, I would say reach out to Alex or come back into the main room. Basically, if you have any issues, you can come back into the main room, ask a question to him, and then come back to the breakout room. So yeah, I think we're ready.
Yeah, I'm just wrapping up adding people to the breakout room, so I need maybe 1 or 2 more minutes.
And if anyone for any reason wasn't able to get on the list, then you'll just be a straggler with Alex, and then he'll put you there. So no worries. Yeah, that was really wonderful and a lot of information that I am excited to digest with everyone. At least I'm going to be in the green cleaning group. But each of your presentations was really full of insights, and I just really appreciate you guys all putting that together. and sharing in this format that we requested of you, which is copy. So
I think also one of the things that we want you guys to, to think about as you go into your breakout rooms and have the discussion, digesting, what's happening or what just happened within the Pecha Kucha presentations, is what, the next event could look like. Because at the end of this, and I'm going to give you a reminder in the closing before we wrap up, that there will be a survey. Fairly brief. Want to get your insights on that, what worked, what didn't work, and then, potential topics, for the next one. I'm just really excited that this is happening because these are such important conversations in this time, and resiliency is ultimately the goal, right? We want to get to a point of being able to bounce back from these, whether it's a global pandemic or an earthquake, we want to bounce back fairly quickly. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm stepping away for a bit. Alex, do your thing. I'll be back.
All right, I think that I've assigned everybody that signed up in the list, so go ahead and join those groups. Know that if you need to come back to the main room, you can click leave room on the bottom right of your screen, and then it'll give you the option to just come back to the main room as opposed to leaving the entire Zoom session. But yeah, enjoy the conversations. And let me know if you haven't been assigned to a room that you'd like.
I need to get to one with Mark. Kathy Falconer.
Here, one moment. I believe I assigned you, Kathy. Which room was it? Which topic? It was transportation.
No, not at all. With coordinating permits and so on within the city. Mark? Business.
Okay, local governance, gotcha.
Right.
Hey, Alex, I think I'm supposed to be leading the HVAC one.
All right. Here we go. Sorry about that. HVAC. There you go. How's everybody else doing? I'm assuming that we're all in the main session by choice.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going the architecture one, but I guess I didn't get this.
Here we go. There you go.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Kucha. Can you put me in the local governance, please?
Yes, sir.
Could I go to the green cleaning one?
Of course. Here we go.
Thank you.
Everybody else doing all right? Hey, it looks like you're muted.
It's you and I. What do you want to talk about?
Oh man. Hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. And we don't really know each other.
we don't. I don't know where to start. Do you have anyone? This is one thing that I was kind of looking at earlier. Do you have any of the breakout rooms that are like really short on people? Or they kind of separated out?
They're pretty evenly spread. I mean, HVAC and green cleaning only have 4 people in each, while the others have like 5 to 6. So,
Would you toss me into the HVAC one?
of course,
Awesome.
there you go.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
wrap up or key takeaways.
Hey, Alex, I think before we do this, before we get to this slide, we will just go through each person who is taking the notes, and they will share a summary of, yeah, what we just talked about. So I actually think maybe it's better if we just don't share a screen at the moment. And you can just see each other. So yeah, let's just go in the order of.
And this is Ben. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben. And I guess actually wait 1 second, because I wanted just to be clear that everybody that's sharing, we have about three minutes or so. I'm noticing we're a little bit early on time, so maybe maximum 5 minutes, but 3 to 5 minutes, and then if you go over, then Alex will shift to the other person. Go ahead, Ben.
We can do it in 3. I believe in our ability to move quick. So the main topic we talked about in our breakout in architecture was really around the integration of outdoor spaces in new and different ways. How do we get people to really sort of rethink, how to evaluate and use their outdoor space? There's some good discussion around the offsets of indoor costs versus outdoor costs, not only looking at, the MEP and HVAC issues for indoor that are avoided sort of with outdoor, but different use of services and materials. And so there could be potentially more value in sort of leveraging our outdoor space in a different way, and really using that more as an amenity. We did have some really interesting discussion around outdoor air quality issues, and specifically, people spending more time outside, creating more awareness around outdoor air quality and really the equity issues, around that, and the fact that the people in disadvantaged communities tend to have much poorer air quality. And so if we're allowed in outdoor spaces, we're almost putting those people even more in a situation where they're forced to experience less quality air. And we have some good discussion as well around, how do we evolve existing buildings to include more outdoor space, and some of the challenges there, but that there are a lot of innovative ways to do that. And yeah, I think what we're seeing right now is a rush for people to sort of haphazardly put those in place, but through thoughtful design, we can probably use our outdoor spaces much more effectively long term. I don't know if anyone has anything they want to add, or if Anthony has anything he wants to add. That was what our main conversation was around.
That was it. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Who's next, Bree?
So, I believe Paul Poirier, local government.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about governance. We had some folks from Santa Barbara, some folks from Ventura, San Diego, and Visalia. And